Furness Podcast with Frank Furness.
Hey, this is Frank, and what a year we've had with COVID. But you know, the interesting thing is, all of my financial services clients that I speak to and that I work with around the world are all telling me they're having an amazing time. They're able to get through to more clients, speak to more clients, and writing more business than they've ever written before. So every cloud has a silver lining. Listen, by now, I hope you've listened to all of the previous episodes on NLP with my great friend Ian Halsell. And what I'm going to be doing now for the next 6 months is going through my program. In fact, it was a pre-recorded program that I'm going to share with you. It used to be part of a package that I sold for $247, an audio package. It's yours for free, so please tune in every week and listen to a new episode. Now we get to that huge area of referrals. Let me ask you a question. Do you ask for referrals every time you go and see one of your clients? If you do, I want to shake your hand. I don't. And most successful people I know don't do it each and every visit. We might do it most of the times, but sometimes we just forget. Now, what's the best way to get referrals is simply to ask for them. Why don't we ask? Have you thought about that? Why don't we ask for referrals? I think the biggest thing is fear of rejection. I don't know about you, but I go in, I'd see a client, I'd get the sale, well, hey, I'm feeling fantastic. And I just want to get out of there before they change their mind. Ask them for referrals. You've got to be crazy. You know, I've got the sale, let me get out. This is madness. I mean, they've just bought from me. They like me, they like my product, they like my company. My credibility is huge. This is the time to ask for referrals. The other thing that happens is sometimes we just don't know how to ask. Have you ever gone in before and said to the client, do you like the product, the service? Do you like the way I've conducted myself? Yeah, Frank, I think you're great. Have you got some names of other people that might be interested in my products or services? Oh, well, I can't think of anyone right now, but give me a call next week. If you leave it at that, you're dead. You see, what you did there is you asked a closed question, a yes or no question. And what are they going to do most of the time? They're going to give you the no. Have you got some names for me? It's much easier for them to say no than to get out of their comfort zone and go and find some. So what you've got to do is ask the question in a way that whatever they answer is going to be a name. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I decided to go on Tom Hopkins boot camp. Now, for those of you that don't know, Tom Hopkins is the world's greatest sales trainer. He is absolutely fantastic. I'd always wanted to go on his boot camp, and I decided this was it. The beginning of the year, I paid for it, and off I went. August, flew off to Scottsdale, Arizona. 800 people coming for a 3-day back to basics selling course. I've been in sales 20 years. Well, I decided if I spent all this money, I want to sit in the front row. So I went to Tom's offices the day before the course, and I said to his staff, I want to sit in the front row. How can I sit right in the front row? Well, they said registration opens at 7. Why not go down at 5 o'clock and get into the line? I went down 4 o'clock in the morning. There were 100 people that had camped there that night. Can you believe it? People camping outside a registration office so that they can sit right in the front of a sales course? I thought this is ludicrous. Anyway, I was pretty near the front, and off I went to this course. Now, it was 3 days of back-to-basics selling. As you and I know, there's absolutely nothing new in sales. What we're hearing today, we would have heard 40 years ago, and we'll hear 40 years from today. It's just going back to those tried and tested ideas. Well, the first day we went through a whole lot of ideas, and that evening we got homework to do. Well, I went off, I spent about an hour doing homework, and then went out, watched a bit of television, and had an early evening. The next morning, we wrote a test.
I got 62%. 80% was a pass. I had failed my test. Well, Tom stood up front there and he said, "Everybody who's failed your test, raise your hand." And very sheepishly, I raised my hand. He said, "You're wasting your money and you're wasting my time. Please go and get a refund and leave the room now." I thought, "Are you crazy? I've just travelled over from London to Arizona. Please let me stay." Well, he said to half the crowd that had failed, "Tonight when I give you homework again, I want you to go away and actually do your homework." The second evening, our homework was to learn off by heart 27 closes. Now, I don't know about you, but for me to learn one close off by heart takes some effort. And up until that time, I didn't know there were more than 5 closes. I stayed up that night, as did everyone else on that course. I walked through the hotel corridors. There were people sitting, studying, learning these closes. The next morning we walked into the auditorium. Tom stood up front and said, "You go out to see a client, and he says to you, 'I want to think about it.' You in the front row with the moustache and the glasses come up onto the stage and tell me, 'I want to think about it,' close." Well, what I can tell you is you do not want to be embarrassed in front of 800 people. So I learnt 27 closes off by heart. Even now, you can wake me up 3 o'clock in the morning and say, "I want to think about it," and I'll recite off that close. Now, the most powerful thing I took away from that course was learning things off by heart, learning things off pat. Because really, when it goes into the subconscious, you know it off by heart, you can then put in your feelings, you can put in your emotions and your own personality. Exactly the same happens with referrals. Now, with referrals, there's a script that I learnt 25 years ago. It worked for me then, and it works just as well for me right now. I don't know who put it together, but it worked fantastically. I learnt it off by heart, and I'm going to give it to you right now. So I would go in, and this is the script that I would use. "Joe, you know, I found that all successful people have got something in common, and I'm sure you're no different. I found that all successful people like to see other people grow, improve, and become more successful. Joe, who do you know who owns his own business?" And at this stage, I would be asking him for prompts. All I want to do is get him to give me names. I'm not asking him to qualify them at this stage. All I want to do is get names. So I'd come from the financial services industry. And over here I would put in, "Joe, who do you know that has just bought their own business? Who do you know that's just been promoted? Who's just bought a house? Who's just had a baby? Who do you play golf with?" Always remember, you're a professional financial advisor, and our whole industry was built up on getting referrals from just about everybody that we see. So every time you go and see somebody now, when the time is right, when they like you, when they trust you, ask for those referrals. Who do you know? Set yourself a target. Every time, get at least 3 referrals. This is going to be the easiest and the best way to build your financial services career. Hey, yes, it's me back again, Frank. I'm your sponsor, and I want to tell you about a series I've put together. It's actually been 2 years in the making. I have created the biggest online course for financial advisors. If you go and take a look at www.salesstrategiesforadvisors.com, salesstrategiesforadvisors.com, please go and take a look at our sales page there. You'll see the course has 281 videos, 106 audios, 12 ebooks, and 7 sets of scripts. And I promise you, you will make 10 times your investment at least in this course. There are so many ideas, every kind of strategy you can think of, new things added all the time.
And for actually listening to the podcast, you can actually get 50% off the course. Please don't tell anyone about it. But if you go in to the checkout where it says coupon code, all you do is type in 50OFF, 50 off, and you will immediately get a 50% off the course on the one-off payment. Or, of course, you can opt to pay $29 a month. So, hey, this is Frank. I look forward to seeing you the other side and enjoy my online course.